life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold, but things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from what I had today. Everywhere I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage.
Oh, good morning. Going to interrupt the guys. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn Laverne. What's going on? This is one street over, and this is our opportunity to see what's going on one street over from where you're living. And you know, last week I get a text. I'm in Mexico, and I get a text from Ryan going, I think Lee Marie's got somebody on the air already, I think. And it was just one of those things. We were, Lee Marie, bless her, she fills in for me when I'm not here. And we were trying to say, okay, yeah, I've got this person scheduled. And you just kind of get in a dither and you forget. And I forgot that I had Ryan on the calendar. And I forgot to pass it on to Lee Marie. And she had somebody already booked. And you were listening. And we were able to reschedule you for today. So thank you.
Worked out fine.
Yes, thank you. Well, and maybe this is even better because we've got such a big weekend.
That's true.
And this is an opportunity to remind people it's Freedom Fest weekend, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So we'll just take it at that and say, that was meant to be.
How was your mission trip?
It was excellent. It was excellent. I was telling Ryan when he came in that honestly, Senator Roberts started me on this little nervous tick about my mission trip, and I'm teasing, but he came in right before my mission trip, and I said, well, when you come in the next time, I will be back from Mexico. You're going? Did you not hear about this news? The shooting in Ensenada had just happened, and we base out of Ensenada, so I mean, it was kind of like, because we hear all kinds of things, but it's never been right there. Well, it was right there where we normally go through, and we go through Tijuana, and we go through some areas that are a little precarious, a little dangerous, but we're there to do God's work, and people are glad we're there, and they honor that. And we're smart about what we do. We don't, mess around with it, so you just go down and there's such beautiful, amazing people down there. I've got friends that live full time in Ensenada, and they're not nervous at all. They're like, it's them, we're fine. And so, but I think there was so much said, we all kind of got worked up. I think a lot of us were a little more anxious this time than we normally were. So, but it was nothing. I mean, we went down there and it was just beautiful and it was as we expect it to be and just wonderful. And I want to go back tomorrow because that's one thing because you go once a year, but then when you're there, you're like, oh, can we stay 2 weeks? Because you just love it. The people are just so beautiful. It's just amazing. Have you ever been to some of the areas in Mexico in the desert? If you've never had a chance to go down the Baja, oh my goodness. Listen to Hotel California. It's been written about California, Mexico. People don't realize there's a Baja California, Mexico, which is south of the border, and Hotel California is written about the Baja. And of course that, we don't want to talk about all the lyric there, but it's still that's what's inspired it,
Right.
and is that drive down the single road that goes through the Bible. There's one road. And it goes through all these little towns. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
How are you doing?
Doing well. And you are glad to have you back. And you're right. Freedom Fest is this weekend. That's what we're, I think, most excited about and most anxious about. To have a lot of folks coming to town to celebrate Independence Day, to celebrate July 4th with us. We're going to do it on Saturday the 1st. Gates will open at 4 o'clock. It is going to be warm this weekend. We had a, excuse me, a cool...
The hall. All these allergy things, just in case you need it.
It's a rough...
oh, yeah.
It's been a rough allergy season because of the cool and wet June that we had. And so... but we're excited. It's going to be warm on Saturday, and hoping that there's a slight chance of rain, and so we're hoping that maybe moves through in the morning time. We know, as you and I were talking, that our farmers need some rain, so we'd like for some rain to hit our area. We'd like to wet the ground for the fireworks as well to make sure that we eliminate any risks associated with that. But fireworks will be shot around 9:15.
Okay.
And that's at the conclusion of all the music, and so we invite everybody to come out. We're going to have some awesome food vendors that are going to be there. We're going to have great talent. Buzzy Pool's going to open it up, so we got some local talent on the stage. Jimmy Church Band will be there, so they'll be kicking it off after Buzzy. Ben Chapman, who's an up-and-coming artist, will be playing after that, and then Megan Maroney's going to headline, who also happens to have the #1 country song on radio right now. So,
oh my goodness!
So that's exciting, and so we've got her at a good time when there's a lot of momentum headed her way, and so we're excited about that. And then we'll have the national anthem sung by Abby Pratt, who's also a local talent, and followed by the fireworks. And so it's going to be a great night. We're excited about it.
Beautiful. I love this. And it's all free, y'all. I mean, getting to hear that kind of, just the lineup of music. Oh my goodness. And it's free.
That's exactly
free.
right.
Only thing you have to pay for is your food.
I left out the carnival rides and the inflatables.
Free.
And a video game trailer. We'll have a video game trailer. That's one new addition this year.
Oh, fun.
And so we're excited about that. And carnival rides. And so, all that's free. All you have to do is, if you want something to eat, you buy that. But other than that, everything else you can do is free. Parking. We have free parking areas. There may be some businesses that charge or to park on.
That's called enterprise.
Yeah, on their property.
Hey, I got property right here. I'm going to make some money.
But we do have free parking areas. If those fill up, then you may park somewhere else. So it depends on what time you get there. But we're excited. We had a big turnout last year. We had about 8,000 people last year, and we're expecting about that or more. But there's a lot of room to spread out because you've got a lot of families over in the inflatables and carnival rides area. So everybody's not crammed into one spot. There's a lot. 8,000 people. We could probably fit 15 or 16 across the entire fairground. So it's a good number where nobody's crowded and no one feels uncomfortable. And so it's awesome. It's just going to be a good day. We're excited about it.
I am too. And so let's pray the rain in right now. We need the rain over the next couple of days to saturate the ground and just to stay clear that night, because we want to have a big time, and just with our Springfield family, with our Robertson County, with our Middle Tennessee family, because they're going to be coming in from all over. With her hitting big right now, that's huge. Yeah. Oh man, people are going to be coming in going, free show, she's there. It's going to be awesome. So
that's right.
I think it's great momentum. And who knew she'd have a #1 at this time? How convenient.
That timing sort of worked out well for us to because we started talking to artists back in January. Yeah. And really trying to nail that down and get somebody lined up based on availability and scheduling, and So to do that, 4 or 5 months ago, and then at timing right as we roll into Freedom Fest week, that her having the #1 song on radio worked out really well for us.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We're talking with Ryan Martin. He is our city manager here in Springfield. He's a week late. We did that intentionally because it's Freedom Fest week. That's why. That's why we delayed him.
That's right.
But anyway, we're going to continue our conversation with him. But I do want to pause for a minute, and I want to talk about our friends over at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. We have so much happening at the fairgrounds now. We'll have farmers market that morning. Are we going to have farmers market that morning still as scheduled, even with Freedom Fest going on? I would think, yeah, maybe.
I think so.
I need to confirm that. I'll check into that and find out for sure. But when we have farmers market, of course, Corbin Creek's always there. They have their flower truck. They're famous for that flower trailer. And when you see events going on, you'll pull up and you'll see Corbin Creek there with their flower trailer, those beautiful, beautiful things for your porch, for your garden, whatever it might be. A lot of us have missing spots in our landscape right now because of the polar vortex took out some of our long-lived shrubs. And so we're having to fill in holes. And the great way to do it is with ferns and some flowering plants and different things. And you can go and talk to Amy and say, well, what will work there until I get this shrub back, until I can get some growth back there? And she'll walk you through and show you everything you need. She'll help you, get things decorated for the summer. And if you want some produce, she was saying yesterday she went out to her garden for breakfast and was eating things right off the vine. So they've got things growing, and if you want some fresh produce, that's the place to call. Call Amy and say, hey, what you got that you got ready to go? They're at 4920 Highway 161 in Springfield. You can give her a call at 615-384-3185. Go into the gift shop, too, and check out all the handmade items that Miss Jane makes, and check out their CBD products that I just can't say enough about. Help me so much with my arthritic issues. They're great friends of this program, full-time sponsors, open 9 to 5 right now, summer hours, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 on Sunday. When you talk with them, let them know U-Turn sent you. Ryan Martin's in the house. Now, I know Freedom Fest is happening, but there's other stuff happening around the city. What happened with your mayor and alderman meeting?
That's right. We had a regular June meeting last Tuesday night, and got to do something really neat that we get to do once a year to open the meeting, and that's to recognize the Springfield, our gas department, Springfield Gas System, recognizes and awards scholarships to a student at each high school in the county every year, and we awarded those in June. Those are folks that are heading from senior year, heading to college, and so it's really exciting to see those young people and hear about their plans and award them and help them along their journey. Mm-hmm. Robertson County folks that are moving on to hopefully do bigger and better things and make everybody proud and come back here. Hopefully, is what we hope for. So we get to lead the meeting with that, and that's really awesome to see those students and their families, or those graduates, I guess, and their families. We also had passed our budget, FY24 budget, on second reading, and so we're excited about all of the things that in the budget. It's a lean budget, as we've talked about. It's not a budget with a lot of fluff in it. It's a budget that provides the services that in the most efficient way that we think we can do. That does not include a tax increase, a property tax increase, and I think we talked about because I had a question or come up with someone the other day about the new tax appraisals and how that'll affect them. And I said, look, it's not a tax increase. It just means you're worth more money now than you were a couple of months ago because your house went up in value. But the tax rate will be adjusted. I think the last time I talked to Chris Trauber, who's the assessor of property, did you have him on by any chance to talk? I have
not, and he's on my list to call because I think it's a question everybody wants to ask. So I'll reach out to him this week and try to get him on schedule.
It'd be timely because I think in June they were hearing that they had the Board of Equalization hearings that were taking place, and once that's finished, the new certified tax rates will come out, and what that'll do is bring the tax rate down equivalent to where the value was, and so it should result in no net tax. Now, as we talked about
that's something I didn't understand at all until you started explaining it to me, so I definitely need to get him in.
Yeah, and some people are going to pay a little less. I mean, like a few, $4 or $5 less. Some people may pay $4 or $5 more, but it's supposed to be a result in the same. I mean, result in, the same, because the local governments aren't allowed to collect any new revenue off of a reassessment. Okay. So that's important. So we'll get our new certified tax rate soon, and that will adjust downward. But we budgeted for, no property tax increase and no other real tax increase, a $2 sanitation increase to help keep up with the costs there that are going up. Landfill, as you know, I'm sure if anyone's been anywhere near Mayor Billy Vogel, he's talked about trash and the difficulties with trash that we're having in this region, and that's in Springfield's no different than that, and we have to get rid of that trash somewhere, and so it's I think that's one of the issues that we'll hear more about in the coming years is landfill space and garbage and that sort of thing. And so one of the things that we also did, and this is something the city had implemented a few years ago, is a recycling contractor. And so we do partner with Green Village Recycling, which essentially provides a pass-through. So Green Village, their organization, their company, their trucks that pick it up. But we partner with them to put the charge on the utility bill. So they pay one bill, and then we remit that payment to Green Village and provide that service. And that way we don't have to provide that service, or it's not an extra service or extra pickup that we have to do. And we have a lot of residents. We have several hundred households that are signed up for that program. It also, even if for those that aren't big recyclers, it provides an extra garbage can that you can use and you can throw your plastic, stuff in that. And that way you're, because I'll be driving to work, and I'm not going to say I haven't been guilty of it in time too, but my green can, I can't get the top to close. I can't quite get the top to close. So the blue can, the recycling can, allows us to put some stuff in there, and and then put the trash in the green can. And it's been a service. It's been well received. We renewed that contract last Tuesday night for another year, and so we're excited about continuing that partnership. One thing that is, I think, of major public interest that people and for some people maybe they want to know, the state legislature adopted or passed a bill this year that the Governor Lee signed into law that requires a public comment period at each governing body meeting. So this is something that some cities, a handful of cities in Tennessee did, but most everyone didn't. And so it's setting aside a period of time during the meeting, every third Tuesday during our regular meeting, where people can register to speak and come and speak on any issue that's on the agenda.
That's on the agenda.
That's on the agenda, right.
On the agenda. That's the restriction. Okay.
Yeah, the state legislature said it has to be germane to what's being discussed at the meeting. So not, I saw, or something happened last year or something like that. That way, for efficiency purposes, to allow as many folks to speak as possible and it be sort of timely and relevant. And because it's a great way for the public to get involved and speak to their elected representation up there before they vote on something, right? So we're going to put that at the very beginning of the meeting. That's effective in July. And so we passed our ordinance on first reading to amend our municipal code to put that as a spot on our agenda. So we're excited about that and about the possibility of having, the public. It does have to be. It is a physical presence, so it's not an email question or or something like that. It does require physical presence, and we do have you need to register online to speak, so that way we can get people lined up. And it's a 30-minute public comment period, and I think each speaker will get 2 minutes. And so it's exciting to be able to hear, because I've preached it on your show, transparency. We want the public to know what we're doing. We want their input, because that's who we're working for. Right. So if they want to take some time out of their Tuesday evening on the third Tuesday and come and share their thoughts on a particular matter that's before the board, that's great. And so we're excited that the state legislature has opened up that possibility for us to do. And so we're looking to making that official in July. I'll let you know how it goes.
Awesome. Well, I have a question from that. Sure. Because now I'm one of those folks, I live in the county, but I have a Springfield address, and I'm also one of your gas customers. So would I be allowed to speak? Because I'm technically a county dweller.
And so this is the way that's been interpreted so far, because the legislation only said members of the public. Oh. So I believe in the way we've written because we had to adopt a policy around it. And the way we've written our policy is members of the public. So you don't have to be a resident of the city, because for that reason too, we have gas customers and water customers outside the city limits, and we want to hear from those folks, because the board may be voting on something relative to the water utility or gas utility, right? So it may affect something going on outside the city limits of Springfield. So we said members of the public. We may have someone coming in that may be making a $50 million investment, but they may live in Georgia, right? But they may be they may be making a $50 million investment in a hotel here or something like that. And so they potential, they get the opportunity to speak too.
Okay.
So
Very good.
absolutely. We've written it to say members of the public to mirror the legislation, and I believe that applies to anyone.
Okay, very good. I appreciate you answering that. So we're talking with Ryan Martin. He is our city manager for the city of Springfield. So if you have any questions or comments, you can throw them up in comments. But let's continue on. We'll take another break here in just a minute. What else do you have on your
Sure.
agenda?
Want to make people aware of there's some paving, two different construction situations going on right now. There's some paving that's taking place around the city. It's time for dressing up. If anybody's been down South Main, it looks like a checkerboard because of all the water main breaks we've had in the last couple of years. And so those have been patched. And so we're going to be doing some major paving and resurfacing there. Going to try to minimize traffic delays and close one lane at a time and mill and pave and that sort of thing. But you'll see our paving contractors moving around the city to really fix some things that need to be fixed. You know, everybody, we talk about potholes and we got to fix potholes and we got to fix issues like that. And so that's what we're doing for paving. Also, a TDOT, this is not a Springfield project, but it's a TDOT project. If anyone's ever been to the bridge on Experiment Station Road and come around that big curve and come down the hill on that bridge that comes out right there on a Greenbrier Pike, you know what a kind of an older bridge that is. And so I think that project, it's been in the works for a long time. I think it's finally going to come to pass. So the board approved a contract the other night because we have a water line that has to be relocated. And so we're relocating a water line there to allow TDOT to do that bridge. So I want to give people a heads up that that's coming. One of the things that we discussed the other night that the board had asked for public input on, and we had about 230 responses to a public survey. And that's on-premise beer permits and the minimum distance requirement to particular functions, churches, schools, parks, and that sort of thing. Cities have historically put a distance requirement in for on-premise consumption of beer to those things. Mm-hmm. And so formerly, the city of Springfield's distance requirement was 300 feet. It was reduced to 100 feet about 4 years ago. And so there's been a question come up now, a potential business that wants to put a family fun pub kind of thing in downtown, but it's next to a church. It's within 100 feet of a church, so they wouldn't be able to sell beer. The board asked if we would do some public input to see how the public felt about that. It was about 60-40. The results came back about 60-40. 60% said, well, no, don't hold up business. 40% said, how dare you even think about it, allowing that. So there was a real split. The biggest issue that comes up there is how liquor and beer are bifurcated. And this is something I think a lot of people don't know. So they're split. The state of Tennessee regulates liquor, mm-hmm. and they let the local cities regulate and counties regulate beer. And so if that place wanted to open up tomorrow next door to a church, the state has no minimum distance requirement and would give them a liquor license. Mm-hmm. So you can go in there and matter of fact, we have a business that serves liquor on Main Street now that's probably within 100 feet of a storefront church. And so the state does not have a minimum distance requirement. So the question always comes up, why can I go to the state and get a liquor license, but you won't give me a beer license? So they can come in and drink hard liquor, but not beer. Mm-hmm. It's something that, we've mentioned to our state legislators about, hey, the state should do one or the other. Take all of alcohol or give all of alcohol to locally so it can be consistent. Right.
I agree. It's very confusing, and a lot of people don't realize the difference there. And so where are we going on that? What's the resolve?
So I think that the board has asked us to come back and to draft and bring them back an ordinance that will eliminate the distance requirement for the core commercial district, which is mm-hmm. downtown, mm-hmm. because that's where you really have the storefront churches. We don't really have that in our commercial services or commercial general districts. And so that would still keep a distance requirement in effect to your traditional churches, but remove the expectation of a barrier for a storefront church since everything's crammed together in that district.
Oh, yeah, because, you do have, you have storefront churches popping up all the time. It's like, oh, I didn't know there was a church there. There is now. Yeah. And so that kind of thing. I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, very good. And whether you agree or disagree with it, that's what the public debate's about, and you can come and talk about it.
Absolutely. And so you'll have an opportunity to comment next month at our public comment period about that, and or reach out to your alderman if you feel a certain way about it, because they kind of base their feeling, I think, on the survey results and how that, it's just hard to, I think it was for them hard to overcome the fact that they could sell shots of whiskey, but not beer, and that's a logical
Absolutely,
common
it
sense
is.
situation
I mean,
that it struggled
But
to.
you go, I don't get that, and,
Yeah.
and it is until you understand that the city has control over the beer license and the state has control over the liquor license. It's completely. I did not realize that there was no distance restriction from the state.
That's correct.
I thought there was, and so I was not aware that there was no distance restriction from the state. So very interesting. I'm talking with Ryan Martin. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. He's our city manager here in Springfield. Let's pause and let's take a moment to cover one of our other sponsors, and let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. My friends in real estate, love these guys. They're up in Cross Plains. They're Robertson County. It's been there over 27 years, and they are here to help you no matter what side of the table you might find yourself on, whether you're buying or selling real estate. They want to help you come to the table and be prepared. If you are wanting to make sure your property is presented in the best light, how about a marketer to do it? We talk about Barry's background all the time because, man, it's significant when you get a marketer that knows how to do that stuff. That's difficult. Packaging something up to where people are going to notice it and not just swipe by it, because that's how they look at real estate. It's just like with the flip of the finger going through the pictures. And if your photography, maybe videography, drone footage, things like that, if they don't stand out, then you're not going to get the attention that you need to get that sale made and to get the top dollar for it. With interest rates going up, it's a different world than it was last year. So you need to know all the nuances when you're coming to buy. What can you qualify to buy? Rebecca's going to make sure you've got all your T's crossed and every I dotted. She's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She's good at what she does. They both came out of other careers, and so they recognize the fact, too, that sometimes people want to dip their toe in the water of real estate. If maybe that's what you're wanting. You need somebody to mentor you into real estate. Well, they are there to help you with that as well. They are Robertson County, and so they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. You can find them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUY, robertsoncounty.com, or give Becky a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Let them know U-Turn sent you. Ryan Martin's in the house. What else do we need to talk about? City manager from Springfield. How are we doing getting through that agenda?
Oh, yeah, we're making it through. I want to give people a heads up on the fact that utility bills are going to look a little bit differently.
Okay.
So we've gone through a software transition really over the last year and a half, and so your utility bill might look different. There was an insert that should have gone out with this past utility bill that lets you know kind of what that change is looking like, and so that way people aren't shocked or think that it's a scam or something when they get a utility bill that looks differently. It's just a software change.
Okay.
We were using a software system. I'm going to admit that it's from the 1970s, late 70s, early 80s, and we are excited to make a change into a 21st century software.
For sure.
There are a lot of efficiencies. That's part of our mission statement. I talk about that a lot. One facet of our mission statement is to provide efficient and cost-effective service. And when we're having people that have to do manual labor because of software that, you couldn't use a mouse with our software.
Oh, wow.
It was that kind of DOS based, couldn't use a mouse and didn't recognize a mouse. And so you used escape and you used all the F keys and that sort of thing. And so to do that and be serious about our mission, to be efficient and be cost effective, we needed to move into move into a more modern software that has efficiencies that will make it easier on our employees to serve people better, right? And that's what we want to do. So we're excited about that, but those utility bills will look a little bit different. One issue that has come up, and this is important too, and I think a lot of folks don't know this. I think it's probably one of the best well-kept secrets of city government, and it's because it's very common. It's pretty universal. The sidewalk in front of your house is the owner's responsibility to maintain.
I didn't know that.
That's right. And so we've had some issues come up where some people are saying, hey, these sidewalks over here on this street are real bad. And y'all need to, it's like, well, we're not going to issue you a citation, but here's a heads up that the city of Memphis does a really good job. I had found in some research. They send out a flyer, I think every year to their residents and say, here's some, first of all, reminder, sidewalks are yours to maintain. If you get a crack, here's some common things that go wrong with sidewalks. Here's some common solutions and some cost-effective solutions. It's a really good kind of public awareness thing to give people, a heads up.
Interesting.
So we and it's been that way in Springfield. That's by ordinance. It's been that way for decades.
I had no idea.
That the sidewalks are the owner's responsibility to maintain. So if it cracks, if there's snow on it, snow and ice, those type of things. If you mess it up, if you break it, then it's But sidewalks are the owner's responsibility to maintain. That's done by ordinance, and that's pretty universal in all cities. That's, I'm sure maybe some city out there doesn't, but everything that, because I looked when I first found out about that about 4 years ago, because I didn't know it either.
Yeah.
And I was working for the city at the time, and the sidewalk issue came up and said, "Oh yeah, sidewalk. That's the owner's responsibility to take care of." I said, "Really?" And so yeah, the city takes care of the roads. The owners take care of the sidewalks because the sidewalks generally run through their yard.
Okay, I had no idea.
So that we're going to be doing a little bit more of a public awareness campaign. I think we've done some social media stuff. We're going to do some mailers and let folks know, because especially in areas like the historic district, you have sidewalks that are in that, they're old, right? And concrete breaks down over time. And we want folks to know that, hey, give you an opportunity, because we don't want to go heavy-handed and just walk around handing out citations, especially when they don't know that the sidewalk is their responsibility. So I want to give them an opportunity. But other residents are also complaining, saying, hey, every time I pass that house, I almost trip and fall and skin my knees because I'm walking or running or walking my dog, or maybe it's an elderly person, or maybe it's a bicycler that gets, it gets dangerous. So that's an interesting challenge for city government, and we'll be doing some educational awareness on that.
That's amazing, because, it may, you have to they would be responsible for even repouring it if it needs to be redone.
That's right.
Wow. Okay, because the initial installation is the city, is the city or whatever where they put it in.
Sometimes. So if a developer is developing a subdivision or building a few lots, now the builder of the home might put the sidewalk in and tie it into the next lot and the next lot. So the city may not necessarily put the sidewalk in.
I had no idea.
And so from time to time, the city will do that on major projects. The state just did it down Highway 431. So from time to time, if there's the Greenway, that's what we did that down Main Street for the Greenway. Right. So the city will do sidewalk, installation from time to time. But as far as general repair and maintenance for cracks and things in front of homes, we don't.
Oh, wow. So if the Greenway runs through my backyard, you're still responsible.
We'll take care of it.
Okay. Interesting.
We'll take care of the Greenway. That's a park facility, so we would take care of that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That's the difference. Okay, we're talking with Ron Martin. Real quickly, can you want to go through the rest of your stuff there? What else have you got?
The only other thing we had was to, we had a good meeting. Everything was good. We invite people to tune in on our social media. We live stream the meetings. Obviously, if you want to do public comment, we'll have that set up very soon for you to do, and I think that's going to be on our website where you register, and there'll just be a little quick thing with the date. But give a shout out to our Springfield 6U Baseball All-Stars who won the district tournament that was hosted in Springfield, and they're headed to the state tournament in next week, July 6th. July 6th through the 10th. The state tournament will be in Chester County, so we wish them luck. We've got a lot of teams headed to state. Our 8U teams headed to state. We've got 10U and 12U folks headed to state tournaments. Year. Yeah, we've got a lot of teams headed to state tournaments, so we're excited about them and wish them the best.
Awesome. I'll reach out to Terry and we'll get him in. Maybe he can kind of recap that for us first of the week. I'll see if I can touch base with him. Thank you, Ron.
Great. Thank you.
Remember, Freedom Fest this weekend. When do the gates open?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and it is going to be a great time. Thank you, Ron Martin. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Ryan at the city office. Doors always open. Thank you for coming on in for Freedom Fest weekend, and be sure and getting a chance to really plug that and remind people of what's going on. Now, I want to remind you of all the things that are going on right now. I don't have my little magazine. I was looking for my little magazine for veterans. Come on in, sit down, Kara. And I was looking for my magazine for Veterans Motorplex, but I tell you what, let's go over to Highland Rim Speedway on social media. The reason why you look for Veterans Motorplex at Highland Rim Speedway is because when Jerry bought the track, he kept their social media presence because it had so many followers. And it just made sense. But you'll find the banner there. It says Veterans Motorplex, and they want to invite you to come out to the races this weekend. They, of course, have great racing on Saturday. They have the gates open at 4. Racing starts at 6, goes until 9 o'clock, and it is a wonderful time if you want to come out to the races. Here's the thing, that magazine that I keep showing you guys, it's Let's Talk Trash from the Keenan Group. You're going to still find those around town. They were published about a month ago, right at the end of school. I know that the central office, school office, had a stack of them. Sometimes the post office has some still lying around. But that back page is worth $40. It will take up to 6 kids and 2 adults to the races for free throughout the 2023 season, which goes through October. So it's a great way to go and check out the races and just see what it's all about. And you're going to fall in love with it because it's a wonderful time. Always great racing. A lot of local heroes, racing heroes out there. And if you want to just keep up to date with everything going on, follow them on Highland Rim Speedway, and you'll get all of the information about if there's rain delays, scheduling changes, anything like that. But our good friend Jerry is out there with Veterans Motorplex. When you get by there, again, they're in Greenbrier. I'll remind you of the address, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road. And if you have questions, you can call them 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725. Always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And as we continue on with One Street Over, our show, talking with Kara Puckett. You're here this morning. Thank you so much for coming in. Get up on that microphone for me.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're fine.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And this is so interesting because this is one of those things I tell people all the time. Let me know who I need to have on the show. Let me know who I need to have on the show. And a friend reached out and said, you need to have Kara on the show for Nashville Foster Love, right? If .com. Is that, do I have it right?
Foster Love Closet, Nashville Foster Love Closet.
Okay. And I love this because I've got a lot of friends that work with foster families. My son is a counselor for foster families out in Jackson. And it's just, I'm so proud of the work he's doing. It's just, he's doing hands and feet of Jesus with these families and just loving on them. And anything we can do to support the children that are just, they need a safe place. They need that comfort. We talk about CASA and all the different things that we do for those kids. And this is something that people forget. There's things they need. And that's what you guys do, right?
Yes, absolutely. So we provide material goods, resources, and support for children and families involved in the foster care system.
So what does that include? Pretty much everything?
Basically, yeah. So we collect gently used and new donations, and anything from clothing, shoes, toiletries to furniture, baby gear. We have an aged out teen right now that we are gathering some donations for a new apartment for her. Just a wide array of things. We have bakers. We have over 20 bakers in and around Davidson County that make birthday cakes for kids for free for their birthdays. We had an 18-year-old recently. She just turned 18. She'd never had a birthday cake before.
That'll just break your heart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we have a wide variety of things that we're doing for these kiddos and these families.
As when you talk about somebody that's aged out, I think people just really forget the significance of that. And these are kids sometimes that have been in the foster care. That's all they really know are their foster families. And when they age out, and sometimes they have to move out. And just they don't have the family support around them to help them make that transition. We're dealing with that down in Mexico. There's because we have an orphanage, and then come out of what do we do when the kids grow outside? Then so they're working on housing for those who are aging out of the orphans home. And I think about how we do all these things in Mexico. We need it right here. We need it right here in America. And there's so many things that we need to do. And there's so many amazing programs. I had no idea you guys existed until my friend reached out to me. How long have y'all been how long have y'all been around?
About a year and a half. We're
oh my
fairly
gosh, you're
new.
brand new.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
What brought this on?
So my husband and I were becoming foster parents we were finishing up our foster classes. They had a resource course in one of our foster classes where they talked about the different resources available for foster parents, and one of the resources was Foster Closet. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna Google it. And so I did, and I looked up, where the closest ones were to us, and there weren't any in our area, which was shocking because, Davidson County, we have the most foster parents of any county in Tennessee. So I didn't think much of it. 2 weeks later, someone posted on a foster parent support group looking for a space to host a foster closet. And I said our church might be interested. I asked them. They just didn't have the room for it. And I was like, okay, well, we have a garage. And so I brought this up to my husband. I was like, what if we park the cars out in the driveway and we can, just have some clothes, maybe some diapers on hand for families. He was very reluctant, but he agreed. He was like, okay, whatever you say, Kara. very quickly it turned into so much more. We saw that there was such a need for the families to have more, and the community wanted to give more as well. So between the two, we were like, okay, we've got to do something else. We ended up getting a storage unit last May, and then over the summer we started working with a lawyer to become a nonprofit organization, and we got our nonprofit status last September. And everything's just, it's exploded. It really has, and it's been so amazing, but all of it has been such a God thing. I really feel like God, laid this on my heart, just kind of handed me a little package, nicely wrapped, like, here you go, this is what's going to happen. And I just said, yes, okay, let's go with this. And every step of the way has been, just another nice little package of like, okay, this is what we're doing next. And it's been amazing to see how it's grown.
So tell me about your space. Are you still in your garage? Are you still in the rental? What are you doing about your space? Are you in need of space? Do we need to put that call out?
Sure. Yes, okay. I would not say no to space, but so it is still in our garage. Yes.
Oh, bless.
We do have 2 storage units now, though, and we started with a very small storage unit. It was a 10 by 10. Now we've got 2 12 by 24 units. We did receive a grant from the Exchange Club of Bellevue at the beginning of the year, and that was their thing. They wanted to get us, a larger storage unit so we could get some of the stuff out of our house. But it is still, and it's like our garage and our kitchen and our bonus room and our master bedroom.
Oh, bless you. I got to tell you, I have a heart. My heart's just going out to you because when I was working with English second language for a couple of years, and so we saw a need with the newcomers needing furniture and things, and so we tried to fill that need. It's exhausting. It's exhausting when you're moving, and it's beyond rewarding. I can't begin to tell you some of my most precious memories are bringing a new family that just got to America and giving them a kitchen table to sit around. I mean, it makes me it just takes my breath away when you get to do those things, and I mean get to do those things, but it's exhausting when you're handling furniture and clothing and all the things that are needed for these families. So folks, help these folks. You need it. I mean, because I think about, that's one thing that we tried to find is a place to store stuff. We had it was just so overwhelming trying to find a place that you could facilitate from. And a nice big, metal building somewhere with a nice parking lot where you could say, this is that place, would be brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's what they need.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Folks, if you got that, there's all kinds of things like that are just sitting.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're like hoping and praying for is maybe there's just a big empty warehouse and it can be written off as a tax write-off because we are a nonprofit. So
if you know of something like that, guys, and it's you see the rise of the Amazons and the mail by order. There's a lot of places that are like, okay, we can't do this anymore, and they close down. I think about the closed Kmart's and the Sears store that's in the mall, and all different places that would be beautifully available and would facilitate this wonderfully. What are they doing with those spaces? I mean, the mall there in Rivergate, man, would be I think about, there's got to be some empty spaces there. I wonder who's in charge of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be a good location?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, does anybody have any connections to Rivergate Mall? Because I know there's spaces there that could be utilized, and man, that would be convenient. You could just back right up. I don't know what they're doing with the Sears building, but I don't think there's anything happening there anymore. Yeah. But come on, y'all. This is how we get these ideas going, and it's just knowing what you've got up against, and you're talking about trying to get somebody that's aged out of the system, and you need furniture. That's one of the hardest things is when somebody goes, I've got a brand new mattress that is just, it hurts my back, and I've slept on it 5 times. Do you have somebody that needs it? There will be, but I don't at this moment know where to go with it. Yeah. Where can I put it? Because that happens all the time where there's people will mail order mattresses. And this is something we ran into with the newcomers. They'll order mattresses and they have a guarantee on it. And the guarantee is only they have to donate it and get a receipt for it. Mm-hmm. And we had that happen a lot of times. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All those things, to be able to utilize it, you gotta have the space and be able to facilitate it. Yeah, so absolutely. How can they get in touch with you if this is striking a chord with them and they're saying, hey, I might can help in that? How can we contact you?
Yeah, so Facebook, our Facebook page, or through our website. If you just look us up online, Nashville Foster Love Closet, all kinds of stuff pops up, from news interviews to our social medias and our website. So just reaching out any way that if it's through Facebook, website, texting, email, it all comes back to me. So
Okay, so Nashville, is it, because the website I thought was Nash Love. Is it Nashville Love?
Nashville Foster Love Closet.
Nashville Foster Love Closet. Nashville Foster Love Closet. So let's make
mouthful.
sure. Yeah, but still, it's very easy.
Yes.
Nashville Foster Love Closet. It's what you need to Google. Find them on Facebook and absolutely Google them and follow them and just reach out and say, hey, whether you've got things to donate, but if the space is huge, because wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody donated the space so you could quit spending the money on the storage units? They're very expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though you've got the grants and that's wonderful that y'all were able to get your nonprofit status, and God bless you for doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, what a calling. Yeah. You just
Yes.
like, hey, this needs to be met, and I'm going to meet it.
Yeah, no,
It's awesome.
It's been, it's not easy.
Well, of course not.
For
No.
sure. But it's just, I have so many little moments that happen, and, they're little reminders, something a parent says or a kid says that it's just like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. This is, what God is wanting me to do right now. And it helps me keep pushing on. So
Love it. Well, for an 18-year-old that's never had a birthday cake. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. What church are you affiliated with?
our organization isn't affiliated with a certain church.
No, I'm
but,
just
like,
saying,
me
but you were
personally-
talking about your
Oh,
church.
okay,
I'm
yes.
just curious.
St. Ignatius of Antioch.
Okay.
It's, close to Nashville. But
Okay, very good. Well, I'm Madison Church of Christ. I'm still part-time staff there, and been there since '89. We have our church families, and that's our community that we live life with. And I don't know how you work if you don't have a faith community. I've got a faith community in Nashville. I've got one here in Springfield, and I'm just, I don't see how you function without your faith community. Jerry Sothergill is asking, can we list her contact information and her website in the comments? I will do that after I get off the air, Jerry. I have a hard time typing and talking at the same time. I can, I'll get all distracted, but we'll put that up in comments, Jerry. I'll tell you what, Jerry, you put it up for us. It's Nashville Foster Love Closet. So, Jerry, you can type that in for us. NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com. So if somebody wants to take that and put that up in comments so we can connect with you. But the big thing is just knowing that they're there. If you have foster families that have needs, right? If you have things that you want to donate, it needs to be good items. Here's one of the things that drives me crazy. And having done some of the stuff you're doing, people will go, well, it's good if you don't have anything. No, it's not. Somebody will go, I've got a couch, and it's not perfect, but if you don't have anything, it's better than nothing. I'm like, yeah, no, sometimes it is better than nothing than your nasty furniture that your dog's been on and that your baby.
we received some of the craziest. Like, I've gotten a whole Kroger sack full of just one single sock. Not a single match. There were over 20 socks, and there wasn't a single match.
Are you kidding me?
No.
And you had to go through
Yes,
them.
yes. I laid them all out, and I was like, what is this?
Why do you
None
do
of
that,
them
people?
match. Don't do it. Don't do it,
Don't
y'all.
do that.
Yeah,
Don't
the
do that.
stained and ripped clothing, don't give it to us. Just throw it away.
Just throw it away. Throw it away. If you think, but that's a comment that just drives me absolutely out of my mind. But it's not great. But if you don't have anything, it's better than nothing.
They're still human beings. They
That's
deserve
right. Thank
dignity.
you.
They
It's
deserve
about
nice things.
dignity, y'all. It's about dignity. And we have a benevolent center at our church, and we distribute clothing and food and furniture that they can put in their car. We don't have a place to facilitate large items of furniture anymore. But people will bring us stuff and leave it. And it's like, really, we're going to put it in our truck and take it to the dump. And it's costing us dump fees. So when you do that, you're being a burden. You're not being a blessing. And that's just all there is to it. Yeah. Don't do that. Be wise enough to differentiate between something that's usable and not. And if you're going to donate it, and maybe something needs washing, just wash it before you take it, so they can see, yeah, it's fine, But anyway, we're talking with Kara Puckett, and she is with Nashville Foster Love Closet, NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com, and you can come in and help. What is your greatest need right now?
Probably funding.
Okay.
And
you can always use your dollars.
Yeah. And volunteers. We have a lot of really great volunteers, but it is just mostly me,
Right.
and doing the stuff. And I am very blessed to be a stay-at-home mom, and so I'm always working on stuff during nap time. But as we've grown, I get more and more busy with, the
bet.
things that we're trying to do. And, we host different events. Like right now, I'm really busy planning our fall market that we have coming up and our respite night that we have coming up and Girls Day Out and all these events and things that we have going on. And that takes up a lot of my time doing administrative type work. So definitely more manpower that can come over and help sort donations. And I just bought a bunch of shelving units that I have to put together and storage totes that we have to sort clothes into and stuff like that. So definitely volunteers. And there's a link on our website to sign up to volunteer, and you'll get volunteer emails. And there's lots of different ways to volunteer too. So it's more than just sorting donations. We also have event help. So like I just mentioned, we have some events coming up over the next couple of months. And so volunteers for stuff like that. We have volunteers that make homemade meals for families and can drop them off so you can be matched with a family that's close to you. You don't even have to come to us in Nashville to, drop off the meals. But we do also keep meals on hand in a deep freezer. So when families come to shop, we can say, hey, here's a homemade meal to take home. I gave three homemade meals yesterday to families that stopped by. We helped 7 different kids yesterday.
That's awesome.
And then also just transportation. I have an SUV, but larger cribs don't fit in my SUV and, mattresses, and there are definitely some things that don't fit. So somebody that has a truck or a trailer, it's really great to have those people that I can give a call and say, hey, can you help bring this to our storage unit? Because I can't and the donor can't either. So
yeah. Because that's something we run into very often is the transportation side of it. I have somebody giving us some stuff for school today and trying to transport that. It's just some old audio video equipment that because I'm, it's another story. But anyway, I'm got to transport that. And it's like, will it fit in my SUV? Will it fit in this? So that's one thing I was thinking of when you were talking earlier is you really need somebody who has a truck that's willing to help you haul, that can get a hold of some manpower. That was the biggest issues we had is the vehicle to transport and then the manpower to lift and put things in the vehicles. That is huge. If you happen to have a truck, we have a little truck that we use at the church that has a lift bed on it. And, that's huge.
Yeah, game changer.
Oh, my goodness, having a lift bed. So if you're somebody that happens to have a truck that's with a lift bed, maybe you're retired and, you're thinking, hey, I could maybe help do this. Somebody's kind of coming to mind right now, and you know who you are if you're listening. I happen to know they have a truck with a lift bed, if they still have it. And I'm pretty sure they are retired. And so maybe they couldn't facilitate lifting and carrying stuff, but they could maybe be one that helps transport. So let's just plant those seeds in the people we know that could fill those spots. And again, if you know of anybody that has connections to a warehouse space, they're in the Antioch areas where you're located. I know first came to mind was Rivergate Mall, because I know there's a lot of empty space there. I don't know who manages that, but man, this would be a tax write-off for them. That would be a brilliant, the Sears store. You need the Sears store. I don't know what they're doing in there, but.
And so we're right on the Laverne line too.
Oh, okay. So you're really a little further out there.
Yeah, so
you really,
Laverne, Smyrna area.
Let's talk 100 Oaks then.
So many, there's so many, warehouses over there off Waldron Road, which is right by where we're located.
Okay, so that's outside of the neighborhood I was thinking. Okay,
I don't know who to contact, but if anybody does, we would definitely love those contacts.
Yeah, for sure. And so, how many are you fostering children right now?
Yes, we have one foster daughter.
Oh, bless. That's wonderful. Do you have any biological kids?
We have 2 bio kids.
Oh, my kids.
They're 4 and 2 are littles, our bios, and then our foster daughter's almost 14. She'll be 14 in a couple weeks, and she's been with us for almost a year. And
oh, man.
She's really wonderful. She's a good kid.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Foster family, she's just wonderful. What a blessing to your family. That's what would you say to people who are considering foster care?
It's a lot to consider. You definitely, there's so much that goes into it. But they have like little sessions that agencies or DCS will do sometimes, or even TN for Kids, and they will answer your questions if you're considering becoming a foster parent, just like an informative type meeting. And so that's a really good place to start, is taking one of those. Then you put in an inquiry with either DCS or an agency if you choose to go with an agency. If anybody's considering it and wants to, I'm also always happy to talk to people. There's a lot of support groups on Facebook too, which is kind of where I got started. Reading books about it. I read a lot or listened to a lot of audiobooks about fostering and, praying about it too. It's a lot to consider, but it's so needed. It's really needed to have, we need more foster parents, good, loving homes that, can help these kiddos out. It's really needed.
It's so funny when you look at history and the history of the church, and this is something that I'm in deep study with. One of the things that differentiated Christians from the rest of the world was their benevolence towards the orphans. That's one of the things. When you study history, you think, well, it was this or that. No. One of the things that stood out the greatest about the early believers was their benevolence towards children who had no home. And I mean, I don't think there's a greater calling than being the hands and feet, than opening your home to children who just need a safe place. So I honor you for that. It's not something I ever have done. And I don't know why. I think it's a very special calling. Part of me is kind of like, do I need to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a call for every Christian? But you need to really look into it, because it's got to be your heart.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can't let these kids down. Once you've made them a safe place, you've got to be there for them. It's like being a CASA and all these things. You have to really do a lot of soul searching and prayerful consideration, because, man, you got to not let these kids down.
Yeah.
It can't be just like, well, let me try that for a minute. No. You got to be there for the game. And I think that's just brilliant. I'm so glad to know you, Kara. My gosh, that's wonderful. And what a wonderful calling to step into this need. When you see a need, you're like, you raise your hand, send me, I can do this. So it is Nashville. I love you, Jerry. Jerry's done so good. He's put all your info up for us.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry's a good friend. Nashville, fosterlovecloset.com, and he's got all the info up on it. All you got to do is just click, and you'll get right there. Thank you, Jerry, for taking care of that for us. Let me go ahead and take my last break, and then we'll get ready. The Go Show's coming in here. Sweetly Marie is going to be carrying the show from 8 to 9 this morning. She's got the Go Show coming up, and she will be filling in for me as I go do my teaching certification classes starting next week. I'll be out Thursday and Friday next week, and then I'm out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday the following week. And she's going to be filling in for me again. Appreciate her so much for doing that. And we appreciate so much our full-time sponsors like Cumberland Connect. Are you a Cumberland Connect customer? Well, you have to be a Cumberland Electric customer to be a Cumberland Connect customer. And that's high-speed internet. Any of us that have dealt with the world of terrible uploads, and I had a 3.5 upload for many, many, many years, and could not do, I'm a photographer, I do a lot of media stuff, could not do a lot of things from my home because I had terrible internet speeds. Well, now I have a gig, and we're finding that more and more people that have access to Cumberland Connect, they're joining the gig club, because you can get it for $80 and you can do everything you need to do. It's wonderful. And you can get an extender. We're going to be getting an extender for our outbuildings, and I'm just amazed at how that works. They came out and gave me all the info. It's just perfect. Just great information by calling 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. Put in your zip code, look at the maps, see when they're going to be in your neighborhood. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, we're talking to you. And if you're somebody that needs help financially with internet, they want to make sure you get it, because it's a utility now. And the Affordable Connectivity Program provides qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you could receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. And they have packages starting at just $30 per month. Go figure. Wonderful company. Wonderful sponsors of this program, Cumberland Connect, cumberlandconnect.org, and tell them U-Turn sent you. I'm talking with my friend, Kara Puckett, and she is the leadership. She's doing the administrative stuff for Nashville Foster Closet. Nashville Foster, okay, I'm getting it wrong. Nashville Foster Love Closet. Nashville Foster Love Closet. And she wants you to come and join her and just help love on all the folks in the foster community that just need stuff. And so anybody in the foster community can access this, right? Not just Davidson County, because you're in Davidson County. This is
Yes,
you did this because there wasn't. What was the closest one when you started looking?
When I looked it up, the closest one was that I saw online was Cookeville.
Oh, wow.
And so that's the Upper Cumberland Closet. And I actually reached out to them and asked them a bunch of questions when we
Sure.
were kind of getting started. They were really sweet and helpful. But there's some other people kind of like us that do it out of their home. There's one in Lebanon, and there's also the Shepherd's Closet, I think is the name of it, in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
And they're a little smaller. I don't think they're nonprofit organizations like us, but
Right.
had the same kind of beginning as us, you know,
Sure.
just getting started out of their home or a garage type space or storage unit. But so there wasn't anything like closer than that though. And we've served families all over. I mean, we've helped a family at Christmas time in Knoxville. They signed up for our Christmas program that we did, and we shipped their gifts directly to them, off our Amazon list. And so it's for anybody that's willing to come to us, or we can help remotely too. Sometimes, we'll have somebody say, hey, I'm in Clarksville and I need, X, Y, and Z, and I can look on, the local Clarksville pages and see if I can find something, or put out a post on our Facebook page. And we have followers in Clarksville that, will reach out and say, oh yeah, I have that. I'd love to donate it to the family, and then connect them with the donor. So they don't even have to come to us. They get something right by where they are.
I love that. And that's one thing, when we were reaching for things, we would put things out on social media. Hey, we need a bed for something, and that would happen. We're out of time, and Lee Marie's ready to come on in here. It's NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com, NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com. And again, Jerry, thank you so much for putting all that info in our comments on our Facebook page. Kara Puckett is my friend's name, and if you want to know more, reach out to her, NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for
Anything
having me.
we've missed that you think we need to cover on these last seconds here?
Anybody can do something to help. You mentioned before, not everyone can do this, but not everyone can be a foster parent, but anybody can do something to help, whether it's a donation, making a meal,
I love that.
anything at all. So
I love that. Get in touch with NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com, NashvilleFosterLoveCloset.com. This is 1100 WSGI. Thank you for joining us for One Street Over, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow. We've got Judge Perry coming in, is going to be talking about the expungement clinic coming up, and we'll have a visit from United Way as well. Again, this is 1100 WSGI. Stay tuned for The Go Show.